Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, in the wake of our most recent mass murders, President Obama challenged the news media to compare the number of people killed by terrorists to the number of gun deaths here in the U.S. And so several news outlets did just that. And here are their results. From 2001 to 2013, 406,496 people were killed by firearms in the U.S. The number of U.S. citizens killed by terrorists overseas was 350, and inside the U.S. it was 3,030, and this includes the 2,977 killed on 9/11. And yet we spend billions in the war on terror, and not a penny to combat gun violence. We don't even do any research on gun violence because Congress passed a law 20 years ago forbidding it. Think about that. 406,496 deaths since 2001, and no federal agency is allowed to do any research about it. This is the kind of tactic used by dictators and tyrants in countries like Russia and China, because they routinely take measures to suppress the truth. So we don't think the U.S. would do something like this, but we are. So why is this? Because the gun lobby has conservative politicians completely in their pockets. And if the truth were to come out, a wave of revulsion would sweep the country. For example, here are some of the things that would come out if the government did actually do research into gun violence. They would find that the gun manufacturers have a vested interest in making sure that people who cannot legally obtain guns are still able to get them. This is why they actively seek to protect gun traffickers. For example, they have successfully weakened gun trafficking laws to the point where the penalties are so light that prosecutors don't even bother to take those cases to court, even when they are totally rock solid. If I get caught gun trafficking, the maximum penalty is a $1,000 fine and a year in prison, which I'll probably never serve because terms that short don't usually wind up in prison. They usually just give them community service and or maybe house arrest. If I get caught with weed, the federal penalty is a $10,000 fine and 10 years in jail. Now think about that. Think about how out of kilter that is. And this is because, like McDonald's, the gun manufacturers have franchises. They're not official franchises because they're not legal, but they are franchises just the same. And those franchises are the illegal weapons dealers. And if they did conduct the research, they would also learn that thousands of so-called responsible gun owners and law-abiding citizens are making lots of money reselling guns to people who cannot legally obtain them. This is why the gun lobby is so adamantly against the National Gun Registry. It has nothing to do with protecting anybody's rights. It is about protecting their bottom line. I mean, we register a car. When you buy a car, you register it, and if you resell it, you report that sale to the Department of Motor Vehicles. So a car is tracked from the moment of its manufacture until it winds up in a junkyard. But if I buy a gun, I can sell it to anyone I want, and there is no requirement to report that sale. Now think about this. Everybody is angry at the banks for their reckless, greedy, and corrupt behavior. And it's rightfully so. The banks and the Wall Street brokers harmed a lot of people. But the gun manufacturers are just as reckless, just as greedy, and just as corrupt as the Wall Street bankers. And they are responsible for 406,496 deaths since 2001. Thanks for listening.